Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. How's it going? I hope it's going well, and if it is, good for you. That makes one of us. Today I am going to be doing a book haul. The title is a little bit dramatic, but it's true. But also, I bought all of these books last year, so they're not new to me, and I've also read most of them already. I know, I am better than everyone. Yes, thank you. I'm pretty sure I have over 10 books here. I think I'm gonna go through them quickly. As I said before, I have read most of them, and I also have talked about most of them in previous videos. I only buy books most of the time that I have already read and loved, so that's why most of these books are read already. Every time I finish a bad book or a book that I don't really like, I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad I did not spend money on this. That is the gist of why I read my books first before buying them. Let's get into the book haul. This is in no particular order. I'm just literally gonna pick them out as I go. So the first book that I have is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Ahmad El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I talked about this book in my best books of 2021. This is a very short book. It's a time traveling sci-fi romance. I really loved it. It's very poetic, very eccentric, and very dramatic. If you like love letters and romance, I think you might like this. This also follows like a sapphic relationship. So if you're looking for more sapphic books to read, pick this up. This was really good and I love it. It's still one of my favorite books, and I might reread this at some point and tab a lot of stuff because I was highlighting like crazy when I was reading this book. The next one we have is Here the Whole Time by Vitor Martins. This is Brazilian translated fiction. This is set in Brazil. This is about two boys who spend winter vacation together because one of the boys' family is going on a trip and they don't want to leave him alone. So they ask the next door neighbor, the main character's mom, to watch over him, and the main character has had a massive crush on his neighbor for the longest time, and so romance ensues, and it's great. It's a good fun time. I love this book so much, and it's so heartwarming, and it touches on a lot of stuff in a very short amount of pages. The next book is The Afterward by E.K. Johnston. This is another sapphic book. It's fantasy and it's pretty low-key. It's not really meant to be like this high-stake, high fantasy or whatever. This is just about these two characters recounting the battle that they had to go through and the obstacles that they had to overcome during their quest. As the title suggests, the story has already happened and we are basically seeing them in the present, kind of recounting what went on. I thought this was good. I thought it was cute. What I really liked about this is how normalized everything was. There was a lot of diverse characters. If you're looking for a YA kind of low-stake fantasy with sapphics, The Afterward. The next book that I bought is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. We sense a theme here. This is an adult sapphic romance. No, I don't want to call it a romance because it's not really a romance. It's like a coming of age with a side of romance, I will say. This book is about, I forgot her name. Grace Porter. This is about Grace Porter. She has just graduated from her PhD and she's like a doctor of astronomy. So how this book is pitched, she's like this very academically driven person who never does anything on impulse, but one night in Vegas during the trip to celebrate her getting her PhD, she gets married to this random woman and has no recollection of it when she wakes up the next morning. So this is basically about her coming of age, dealing with her dad's expectations of her, the pressures of everyone around her, the pressures of being a black woman in STEM. Is she in STEM? Ugh, astronomy? I don't know. Yeah, very stupid of me, actually. I don't fucking know, okay? This is about her pretty much navigating her academic world and professional world as a black lesbian. And yeah, it's her coming of age, finding herself, finding love, finding friendship. I think this book was okay. I didn't really like it as much as I'd hoped to. The writing was a little corny, I'm not gonna lie. There was just so many metaphors. How many times did she mention that she had honey blonde hair? It's like, dude, I get it. I don't care. Anyway, I also didn't really vibe with the romance that much. I think the love interest was kind of like a manic pixie dream girl, but for a debut novel, I think it was okay. It wasn't terrible, you know, I've read worse. But what I really liked about this is the second half of this novel. I think it did a good job at showing the anxieties and the pressure and how that affects us. And I also think it was nice that it wasn't following a 16-year-old girl, because that's usually what you get when you're talking about coming of age. So I really like that it was an older woman, like a woman in her late 20s. I think she's 27. I don't know. But yes, I like that it wasn't YA. It's actually an adult novel coming of age. And actually, I would love to see more adult coming of age novels, because shit, you don't stop coming of age apparently. So the next book that I bought is one that I actually haven't read yet, and it's Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I love, love, love this cover. It is so simple yet so gorgeous. And if you look at the back, I don't know, I really love this cover. This is supposed to be like a mystery thriller. I don't really know much about this, but I think it's about this girl. Her best friend Monday goes missing, and she's a black girl, and it talks about how unprotected black girls are and how nobody really tries hard enough for them, especially when something's wrong with them or when they go missing. But don't quote me on that, because again, I don't really know much about this book. I've been wanting to read it since last year, and I still haven't gotten around to it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get to it before the year ends and I can finally read a Tiffany D. Jackson book, because I have been wanting to read one of her books. Let me know if you've read this and if it was good and if you liked it. The next book that I bought is You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. I talked extensively about this book in my best books of 2021. Yeah, this was just a really fun romance. It was the first romance that I read in a long time that was actually really good. I definitely 100% recommend this. I think both of the main characters work really well together, and I really love this. I really enjoyed this book. If you're looking for a fun, lighthearted second chance romance, I definitely would recommend this. Fair warning though, this does rely heavily upon the miscommunication trope. If you don't like that, maybe it might not be your cup of tea, but I really think it was done well and it made sense in the context of the story. So the next book that I bought is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This book, if I could put it in a museum, if I could have it tattooed on the back of my eyelids, I would. It's everything that I've ever wanted in a vampire book. If you don't know what this book is about, it's pretty much a lyrical retelling about Dracula's brides, and it's told in the point of view of one of his brides. I need to reread this book at some point, but yeah, it's super short as well. Love this book. If you love vampires, I think you would love this. Again, I can't rave about this enough. This is like one of my favorite books of all time now. The next one I have is The Color Purple by Alice Walker, another favorite of mine. This book is a comfort book for me. It is so special to me. Definitely check the trigger warnings. It is told with care and love, and you can really feel the community and the found family within this novel. The next book that I have is one that I recently finished, and it's An Ember in the Ashes. I gave this a 3 stars. I expected more from this book, but you know, it tracks for like a 2010s YA fantasy. I did enjoy the story for what it was, but I honestly didn't really care much about the main characters. I liked Laya. I think she is set up to have a great character development in the next books. The one that I really could not stand though was this guy right here, Elias. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't tell you how much I cannot stand woe is me. I cannot stand characters like that, especially when they're male characters. For some reason, as soon as I hear a male character complain about whatever the fuck he's going through and like so much self-pity, please shut up. Anyway, he was just really annoying, and he was kind of a dick. Like, he was such a dick, especially to his so-called best friend. Like, he treated her so horribly throughout this entire book. Weirdly enough, the only 2 characters that I actually liked and that I found compelling and intriguing and wanted to know more about, the commander, yes, I know she's terrible, but I think she was interesting, okay? I think she makes a great villain, and she also has depth. And Helene, I want more of Helene. Obviously she has her flaws and she has her little brainwashing to undo. And another thing is, like, the main villain is a dark-skinned character. The thing that grates me more about about the fact that he's a dark-skinned character is the fact that he has a twin, and the twin is lighter, and it's mentioned a few times that the twin is lighter, and the twin is more passive. He's a lot more docile, and he kind of reels in his brother anytime he does anything remotely villainous or whatever. So it was the contrast. Oh my god, his lighter skinned brother and then his, you know, the dark skinned big bad whatever. Like, I don't know if these characters are supposed to be black. Like, there are a lot of ethnicities and a lot of races who have brown skin, so I don't really care what race he is. It's just the fact that, you know, dark skin is just so villainized. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, Ember in the Ashes. It was okay. The next book that I bought is One of the Good Ones by Micah and Maritza. I don't know how to pronounce that. By Micah and Maritza Moolite. This book is super underrated. This book is super underrated. If you have not read this book yet, if you have not seen this book anywhere, please pick it up. I swear it literally has barely 3,000 ratings on Goodreads. That is baffling to me. This book is so fucking good. Please read it. Please check it out. This is about two sisters who have just lost Kezzy, their other sister, who was a social justice activist, and it's about the youngest one finding it weird how her sister is remembered, how they called her one of the good ones, how they described her as being perfect, and the sister coming to realize that it really takes a lot for black people to be deemed worthy of being missed and to be deemed worthy of, you know, just giving a fuck about. It hit me so hard for some reason. The last 3 chapters literally made me sob the entire way through, and I just think it was done really well. Please, if you have not checked this book out, read it. It's so good. It talks about intergenerational trauma. It talks about sibling relationships and family dynamics. It talks about, obviously, blackness and anti-blackness, and it has a lot of history in it. The next book that I got was Ace of Spades by Farida Bikayimide. This is very popular in the book community. I would doubt it if you didn't know what this book was about, but if you don't, it's essentially about these 2 black queer characters who are the only black students in a private, elite, predominantly white school. They start getting weirdly personal and threatening messages from an online entity called Aces, and it could very well damage their reputation and damage their chances at graduating at this elite private school. I thought this book was really good. I thought it was done really well, and this is a debut novel, and it was just knocked it out of the park, honestly. So if you have not checked Ace of Spades out yet, definitely check it out. I think it's worth it. Alright, now we've come to the last 3 books, but technically it's 2 more books. So the first 2 books that I bought are actually the same copy, and it's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have 2 copies of this book, not by choice. Something happened when I was ordering and they sent me the wrong book, and then I had to return it, and then I ended up with 2 copies of this, and then I was like, you know what, I don't really need 2 copies, so y'all can just have this back. But then they were like, nah, we don't want it back. So I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with 2 of these? But anyway, I'm gonna put this one down. Everyone has heard about this book. It is constantly talked about with good fucking reason. This book is everything to me. Like, I'm not joking. There's not a month that goes by where I'm not thinking about this book since I read it. And weirdly enough, I didn't know this book was that popular when I first read it, because I was just getting back into reading and I saw someone randomly on Twitter recommend this book to someone. They weren't even talking to me, and I was like, you know what? Why does she have 7 husbands? What is going on here? Why would you do that to yourself? Where's the drama? I want to know. So I picked this up. This book means a lot to me, bottom line, and I absolutely fucking loved it. I'm never gonna stop raving about this book, like, never. You can say anything you want about any of my favorite books. This one, I'm not taking any criticism. Like, I'm not. And I know it has its flaws. Like, I'm very aware. I gave this a 4.75, so I did have my issues with it, but other than that, it's just such a, I don't know, it means a lot to me. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is my baby. I will cherish this book forever and ever and ever. If you are somehow lucky and have been able to avoid knowing anything about this book, I definitely recommend going into it blind, because that's what I did, and it was great for me. The last and final book of this book haul is a mammoth of a book, and it's The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. How gorgeous is this book? Like, I feel like I need to step out of the frame just so it can have its moment. This This book, I don't know much about it. All I know is that it is a high fantasy with a queendom, I think, and it has a sapphic couple in it. So yeah, I'm interested, obviously, and it has dragons. Obviously, I have not read this book yet. I'm quite frankly terrified of getting into it because of how huge it is. Like, do you see this? I'm afraid. I'm scared, okay? One, I am scared because of how big this is, but another thing is I'm scared I'm not gonna like it. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully I do like it. I have been wanting to read this since last year, and I still have not gotten around to it. Who knows if I will get around to it by the end of this year. I prefer my short, quick books that I can just finish and move on to the next. I just feel like any type of series or any type of book that's over 300 pages is like way too much commitment, and this is about 800 pages. I don't know. Maybe I have commitment issues. I don't know. I've never thought about that before, but maybe I do. Speaking of series, I don't know if I'm going to continue the Ember and the Ashes series. I mean, I think it left off somewhere where I do want to know where the characters go, but Elias is just so annoying. He's just so annoying. I don't know if I can do it. But yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think I should do? I don't know what's going to push me to read this book, but I mean, God, Jesus, look at this. Anyway, she's gorgeous, so good for her.
She's huge, but she's so beautiful. She's a mammoth, of course.
That was the end of this book haul. Let's get to the part where I stack all the books and try to hold them up in the frame and see how that goes. Okay, I think I did it, but I think I did it the wrong way. Let me try that again. Oh my God, this is heavy. It's actually not that bad. I think I bench more than that. Ugh. Can I do one hand? Yo, that was almost very bad. So these are all the books that I bought. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below on any of the books. If you liked them, if you didn't like them, let me know. Let's discuss. And I will see you all soon in another video. Bye.